This is our second episode of Going Live
Hey.
second episode of Going Live with the Liberal Doc. That is me. And so this is an opportunity where I get to sit down with some of my amazing friends. I know some really great and amazing people and really just talk to them about how they are incorporating wellness into their everyday life. And I know for a fact they're doing it because these are my people and we talk about it very often. So I'm so excited to chat here now with my homegirl, Tatiana.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey. Okay, so
Hey.
Tatiana is originally from New York City. And she's
Mm-hmm.
also a proud Spelman College graduate and also happens to be one of my favorite Deltas. Is it okay?
Hey.
That's one of she's one of my favorite Deltas. But outside of that, she is a fashion and lifestyle influencer who's really passionate about helping women express their style with confidence while embracing faith, self-care, and intentional living. We love that.
Mm-hmm.
We love that. Now, she's a teacher by day.
I am.
So with them babies, with little babies, okay? But what I love this too, she's a content creator by heart. So she gets to share her style inspiration, beauty tips, wellness insight, and her faith-driven encouragement with an engaged and growing audience. Congratulations, belated. We just celebrated beginning of this year 10,000 followers for her.
Yes.
And it's growing, which
It's
is amazing. So
coming.
her followers that are here, hey y'all, welcome over to this side of
Hey.
Instagram and social media. So, Tatiana, again, thank you so much for your time. And I
Of
don't want
course.
to, take your time up too much, but I want
Mhm.
to dive right on in.
Okay.
Tatiana, for the past, I guess, like almost like 3-ish years that we've known each other almost.
Yeah.
I've always been so impressed by your ability to balance these multiple roles. As we say, you're an educator by day,
Hmm.
content creator, soror, all of the things, family member, friend. So,
Yeah.
how do you find personal balance in all of those roles just in your daily life?
Who? Honestly, God. Honestly, it's God. I think it's God. And I think the moment that I just stopped overthinking a lot of things, I felt like things started to fall in place, right? Number one, I always start my day off with God, I pray, do my devotional, and then I take care of myself. So going to the gym. And that's like a non-negotiable for me. So there's that. I think as far as education, I've been in the education world for a very long time. So there's that. And then I can honestly say when I first started the content creator journey, this is before blogging was the thing, I was afraid to kind of share that I was a teacher. I was like, oh, because I didn't want to just be labeled as just that. And the moment that I realized I'm you're multifaceted, just show up as you, that's when I started to feel a lot lighter. I feel like I started to find some balance. Now every day is not perfect. I'm gonna sit here and say there's still some areas I'm okay. But most importantly, the one thing that I always prioritize is God, and then making sure that I'm taking care of my physical, mental well-being, because everything else can wait. But I really feel like the shift for me has been just showing up all, authentically, myself, and then incorporating those things. Yeah, there, if you are consecrating, you have to plan things. But I noticed that when I started to incorporate things that was just organic to me, or just hey, okay, this is just my day to day. I started to just feel a lot better with how I was showing up, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
love that. I think you already just dropped some major gems there.
Hmm.
One, start your day with God. It
Hello.
makes the difference, honey. It
It
truly
does.
does makes the difference. And just even as you mentioned, pouring into yourself. So I
Hmm.
say, especially those of us who have careers that are very people first or people serving careers. So
Yes.
educators,
Hmm.
anybody in the healthcare space,
Yeah.
those fields really require that you are pouring into people. And so I always say, I can't pour into you from an empty cup. So
Hmm.
it's really important that I'm prioritizing at the beginning of my day, if I can, making sure too that I'm pouring into myself. Lastly, you mentioned something where just truly defining what wellness is, right? So when
Hmm.
we think about what it means to live well, shout out
Hmm.
to the Live Well Doc and the Live Well community.
Hey.
Yeah, it's really about touching on actually those 4 points of wellness. So
Yeah.
mind, body, spirit, and community.
Yeah.
And I also think you do that very well with
Oh, thank
building
you.
community. So,
Hmm.
my question for you, how do you find that balance of maintaining community, pouring into that while also handling all those personal wellness goals that you're reaching?
Yeah. I would say. like community is very important to me. And I think that being in different communities is also important, right? Like not just getting like stuck in just like one place. And I feel like because I have different groups of people, I feel like that keeps me grounded. And I'm also someone who like I get back my energy from like being around people. On top of like making sure I have like my self-care solo time. But I think for me, like that's also part of wellness, right? Like just being around other people, like-minded people that's like doing the same thing. So even like the gym, or if it's like I have small group, right? I have like a small group that I meet with like bi-weekly, and we like do our devotionals. I also have like my fashion girls, like, okay, girl, you know. So I feel like finding areas, find different communities that fit like your interests is very important. But I think for me, it's like I've had to discern where I want like different type of communities I want to be a part of,
Mm.
right? Like
Mhm.
not every community is meant for you, right? So I think now it's important to me that I am, grounded in certain spaces, and then also like nourishing those communities as well.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe that it's important to like pour into those relationships because they pour into me.
Yeah.
So I make time for those community, make time for those different groups of friends that I have, and I'm grateful that I have different groups of friends. And my best friend always laughs at me, and she always jokes, and she's like, "Girl, who?" She's like, "Okay, that's from this group. Okay, yeah, that's the one from the gym. Okay, that's the one from your job."
Right.
And she was like, "Girl, you got too many people." But
Mhm.
I'm truly grateful. I think that if you're able to exist in many different groups, I think that just speaks to your personality. Because I understand that
Mhm.
not everybody can do that, but I'm truly grateful that I'm able to like balance being a part of different groups, because it just kind of feeds me. I don't know if that
Yeah.
answers the question. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was perfect, perfect.
Yes.
And just to speak about, I always say like there are some people, shout out to my line sister Jasmine, who we brunch together
Hey, girl.
for my
Hey.
birthday. And y'all are so similar, both Leos, both have the ability to like circulate in all these different groups and forums. And I would say, y'all just pick up people, just picking up people. And so I would say, girl, you picked me up in the community. We met together. We met at our gym, right?
Yep,
So
we did.
shout out to Metabolic,
Yes.
D&D. And
Yes,
so
we
as you
did.
mentioned, like, sometimes you have to find your group. You have to find your
Yeah.
community
Hmm.
by investing in what you're interested in, right?
Exactly.
So for me, this was post pandemic, kind of sort of post pandemic, and I was like, hey, I really want to get back into group activity
Yes.
exercises, and so that's where I ended up finding Metabolic. And I remember we were both going talk about time and balance first thing in the morning. We were
Hmm.
hitting those early morning classes like 5:30 in the morning,
Yes.
girl.
Yes.
And it was so funny because I remember like the first few, maybe a couple of months, and I was like, oh, this black girl, she's always there too. And she wears the gym wrap too. I know her hair got to be
Shout
laid
out to
as
the gym
well.
rat.
Okay. Community, we probably have that in common. And I think it was just like, us just sparking up conversation. And I know too, it can be difficult as adults post college
Yeah.
making friends, right? Or post education in any of that setting. And I think I was like, I felt so silly, but I was like, hey, I just went up to you. I think it was like, hey, girl, I see we come to this classes.
Yeah, you
We
did.
want to be like friends. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was definitely mutual, right? And I I've had to like grow, especially after college. Going to Spelman, being around a lot of women, and then I felt like once I graduated and I got into the real world, I feel like it was a big slap in the face because I was so used to a certain particular community that I expected that in the real world. And I was like,
yeah,
oh, hold on, wait a minute. It's not like this everywhere. Okay, but I think that's what it taught me to just like you have to be yourself, right? You have to be your
yes.
authentic self, but then also you have to use discernment of being like, okay, not every I don't have to always stay in every space, right? Like every space is not meant for
Mhm.
me. Everybody's
Mhm.
not meant to be my friend, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think, when you and I crossed paths, I was like your energy was just I was like, I like her energy. And I think what the turning point for me was like my birthday. And I remember when you showed up, I
Mhm.
was like, you know what? I like her. I like her. So I think that, it has been an adjustment post college, but I think I'm starting to like, I'm getting it right now. I'm like, okay, I'm
Mhm.
getting it right. And I think it's helped me recognize there's a difference between acquaintance, there's a different like friends, you
Right.
know. there's certain people that you can call for certain things. Like you just have to learn how to put people in certain boxes. And that was
Yeah.
something I had to learn. And I was like, that was really difficult, right? Because it's just like, wait, I want to put
Mhm.
everybody in the same box. But it's like, you know what? That's okay. Like it's okay to have your, different groups of people and like picking people up and be like, I like this person. But I don't think
Yeah.
it's as hard as we think it is to make
Mm.
genuine friends and have genuine friendships. I don't think that that's difficult. I think it just requires people to like grow, but then communicate and
Mhm.
to like, communication is one, but also like as you grow, as you get older, like things change, right? So it's like who I am now could be different from a few years, right? So it's just always interesting to me, making friends at this age because I feel like
Mhm.
either we've all had similar experiences or we're just kind of all like growing in this space of like, hey, we're adults, we can still make friends at our age.
Yeah, yeah, no, very true. And I think too, in my role as a primary care doctor, a lot of
Yeah,
times, like I get to see a lot of people who are going through those transition points,
yeah,
whether it's like, I'm transitioning from college or I'm moving to a new city, and then
mm-hmm.
us millennials, I really love my patients that we can gravitate in that same like age because I feel what you're going through. But too, as we're looking at that,
Hmm.
within that demographic, there's a loneliness epidemic, right?
Yeah,
And it's
mm-hmm.
so interesting to see that loneliness epidemic there that is directly correlated as well with increased risk of anxiety and depression.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
and so I think that's why it's so important that we make
mm-hmm.
time in community
Mm-hmm.
to, it just can't be about the grind all the time. And even,
Yeah,
DC is very good for all the networking events, and that's everybody's just there to like, I'm furthering my own self, but sometimes go to these events or whatever just to really make a friend. You don't want
yeah,
anything out of
mm-hmm.
them. Don't lead in with, hey, I need you to collaborate with me, you want to be my business
Right.
partner. No, please just
Yeah,
make good friends, that's all, right?
yeah, yeah,
um, and so I see here too, we have a comment. I love that my primary care is also a Black woman in our age group. Yeah, because it helps
yeah.
too when
It
you
does
can
help.
talk with somebody that gets it. Like I will always
Mm-hmm.
say, my therapist is a Black woman in my age group.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some things I just don't like. When I say certain things,
I
it
need you
helps.
to
I don't
get
have
it.
to explain it. Like she
Yeah,
gets it. So I
yeah.
think that is important to like building your community,
Hmm.
friends, and also like professionals too, as you think about your health
Yeah.
professionals there.
I do have a
Yeah.
question for you. Why do you think it is like there's like this lonely epidemic happening right now?
I think it's twofold. One, I definitely can point to the pandemic, right?
Okay.
Because there was so many people. Now, some of us, like for me and being in healthcare essential workers, my life really didn't change that much in the
Okay.
pandemic. I still was having to go out, interact with people.
Hmm.
But that time where people were at home and a lot of times like not interacting, I see that there's an increase of like social anxiety when it's now
Hmm.
coming to like re-enter into social spaces and maybe just feeling like a little bit awkward. But I
Gotcha.
do
Okay.
think too, as we think about, even though social media, I think it's a tool that we have to be careful with how we use it.
Yeah.
Some people are more comfortable just behind the screen and typing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when it actually comes to like actually engaging in person or in
Mhm.
this context where now you have to put yourself out there to make
Right.
friends and to make community, it
Hmm.
can be challenging. Like it's a
Hmm.
skill, as you said, communication. If you're
Yeah.
not working on that, you can lose that skill,
Mhm.
even if it's just basic, like tell me about yourself, or being in
Yeah.
those environments. So I think it's a twofold thing that we're seeing within, definitely within millennials, but even that younger generation behind us,
Yeah.
they're even struggling more with that, because
Wow.
of the technology. So I do think it's one of those things we have to, or the IRL, we got to get in real life, people. So
In
everything
real
can't
life.
be. So God willing, y'all, we gonna take these go live with the Live or Die. We gonna have some in person stuff so we can come
Yeah.
off these doggone screens and actually, practice building
Yeah.
community in real life.
Yeah. Okay. I can definitely see that. I mean, the pandemic was rough. I would say,
Yes.
as somebody who was like by themselves, I was like teaching virtually. It was difficult. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
The first like I said, 6 months, 6 7 months, and then I got a dog, so that
Okay.
helped. That definitely helped. But yeah, I can see that. I can see how it still exists now,
Yeah.
trying to figure out like where you kind of fit in, and you
Hmm.
know. So, but I
Hmm.
will say there are a few groups I feel like that, I'll see like a random pop up like, hey, meet here if you're this or this, meet here. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think too, that's why I really enjoy group fitness classes versus
yes.
just like exercising on my own. And I would say I didn't really get into strength training and group
Yeah.
classes. It probably was like a little bit before the pandemic, but it
Okay.
really wasn't like in a community sense where it's like,
Okay.
I didn't like make friends. It was literally you just drop into the class and that's it.
Gotcha.
Versus what I really like about Metabolic, and that's where they keep getting my coin every month, um, is because like it's not just the fitness part, but it's also the
The
community
community
part.
part. Yeah.
But
I
I would
agree with
say
you.
specifically the strength training. I wanted to ask you about that because again,
Okay.
for me, I was not I probably what they call like a cardio bunny. Like when it came to
Yes.
exercise, I was like, I just want to do the cardio. That's before like probably my mid 20s. I was just
Yeah.
cardio bunny. That was it. But
Yeah.
then when I started understanding like strength training for myself, it
Yeah.
was really as like an emotional connection for me. I was going through a very challenging time in my life. I always say I was getting attacked when people say, "Were you getting attacked emotionally, relationally, spiritually?" All of the leaves, baby, physically, all of the leads, I was going through it. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's when I got into strength training. And
Okay.
so I'm always curious, especially for women, because I encourage my, patients, especially my women patients, to get involved in strength training. What was your introduction and why did you start doing like heavy lifting strength training?
Yeah. So, just like you, I would say I've always been active. Like, I've always been active, like, even as a child. Like, I dance, I step, like, dancing. I danced for a very long time. I would say in my early 20s, it was one of those things of just like cardio, cardio, cardio. I was doing a lot of cardio, whatever was in at the time. And I feel like cardio was the thing. So, it was like cycling class, all that. But the turning point for me was I was in my cousin's wedding and it was like I need to get fit for the wedding. That was
Mhm.
literally it. And I realized, like speaking back on it, a lot of that was my mindset around like working out. It was always like crash
Mhm.
dieting.
Mhm.
Let me do this so I can get ready for this. And I think what really changed my mindset was Matt. Like Matt about really changed my mindset. I remember when I met Carol. Hey Carol, and just like watching the women around me, like at my weight, like how I eat is different now. Like just
Yeah.
learning about nutrition, but the strength training thing, I was scared because I was like, I don't want to look bulky. Like I thought
Yeah.
I had like this
Mhm.
misconception that I was
Mhm.
gonna walk around looking like, but
Right.
that wasn't it. And it became a mental thing for me because I felt like there was also a lot that I was going through at that time. And I remember the coaches would say things like, you can do hard things. And I was
Yes.
like, I
Mhm.
can. So once I started going, I started lifting and I started seeing my progress of like, oh, you're getting stronger. There was something about mentally and the physical like was connecting for me. Like I was getting physically stronger, but then also mentally I was also getting stronger because when you
Yes.
lifting them weights and you doing something for
Mhm.
5 minutes like this morning, you have to
Yes.
mentally tell yourself, I
I can
can
do
do
this. I can
this.
do this.
I can do this, right? And
Yes.
now I feel like I am way more like healthier than I was in my early 20s. Um I feel like my mindset around shift training has changed a lot. Like I genuinely enjoy lifting weights. I'm
Yes.
like, what are weights at?
Let's
Like,
go.
let's
Hmm.
go, right? Like, and if I see a man in the class, and there's been plenty of times where a man has come to class and he'd be like,
Be that shot. And for context, Tatiana, I would say, I don't like to refer
I
myself
am
as
fun
short.
size, I am petite, okay?
She's smaller than me. I'm 5'2". And Tati, I was like, I'm a giant amongst men when I stand next to Tati. So, and this girl be
Actually,
lifting heavy weights, okay?
yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think it women, I mean, doc, you can back me up. This is not my profession, but I've been told just by like even like my healthcare providers of like women, it's
Mhm.
important as you are getting older to strength train.
Yeah.
So the fact that I am utilizing, my muscles in that capacity, like I just feel a lot better. I feel
Yeah.
a lot better. And it's so crazy because like I said, I was a cardio, like cardio, no carbs, no this. Like I'm not, and now baby, I'm not
Yeah.
missing no meals. Like, what do you mean?
Exactly.
Like, I need to eat.
Yes, yes. And I think you definitely are right on when we think about for women's health, right? Even
Mhm.
when we think about as we age. As we age, we tend to lose both bone mass and muscle
Yep.
mass. And that's also
Yeah.
like a severe decrease that we see in
Wow.
menopause that happens, right? And so
Okay.
when we are really prioritizing that in our 20s, 30s, muscle mass building, that really
Okay.
helps us. And we see also with longevity, right? So
Okay.
there have been a lot of studies that show women who continuously stay active and also include some weight training, even when they enter into their later seasons of life, they have less chances of bone fracture, less osteopenia, and then just in
Okay.
general, they just live better lives. They're less frail,
Okay.
they're still more active. So I always say, when I'm getting up and I'm training, I'm not just thinking about me today in my 30s. I am thinking about me in my 80s, 90s, God willing, because we're trying to live to 100. So
Hello.
I always say, when I'm lifting up those heavy weights, and I saw some great questions, they're like, what is it? Metabolic? That is metabolic.
Hmm.
I'll make sure to drop it in
Hmm.
the chat too before we leave. They
Yeah.
are a franchise and they're throughout the DMV area. So check them out.
And also other, if you go on to like go onto their website, there's other locations in other cities
Yes.
and all of that. And if
Hmm.
you are in DC, I do have a code if you want to try a 2-week trial. So there
Let
is
us know.
that. But
Let
what
us
are
know.
the, I can't see the questions. So
Yeah, yes. I just saw that when somebody was asking about that.
okay.
Now, in closing, Tatiana,
Hmm.
we do a segment over here on the Live Well Doc where it's called
Hey.
Doctor's Orders.
Okay.
So for the next 2 minutes, I'm
Okay.
gonna pass over my prescription pad to you. You are a licensed MD for the next 2 minutes, girl. Yes, just for 2 minutes now, okay?
Oh
Um,
my God. Grey's
now,
Anatomy, it's my time. It's my
this
time.
is
You
your
got me
time,
watching
girl. Okay, the
Grey's.
prescription not gonna go nowhere past here, though. Okay. However, I want you to write a prescription to our community on ways that they can live well.
Mm. Ways to live well. So I'm the doc. Okay. I'm using my own advice. I'm also talking to myself. Get your sleep. Sleep is very, very
Mm,
important. Get your
mm,
sleep. You need it. You need it. Get your sleep. Drink your water. Eat a well balanced meal. Go for a walk. If you can walk daily, just go. If you can't even hit the gym, just go for a walk. What else would I say? Try not to stress.
mm-hmm.
Stress is a leading cause of a lot of different things. And make sure you schedule your annual doctor visits. Go to the doctor. Um, and I saw this and I'm going to drop it in there. Like, don't forget to schedule time for just like fun. Like, life is hard right now, there's a lot going on. So, schedule time for fun. Put that
Yes.
PTO in. Um, and live well. Like live well. You only have one life to live, so live well.
Yes. Love that. And I do believe, y'all know, since Beyonce said it, drinking my water, minding my business. And if you drink enough water, you're going to be going to the bathroom so much you won't have time to mind nobody else's business, right?
Drinking my
And if you're
water.
going to bed at a decent time, really trying to get that 8 hours of
Hmm.
sleep, because here's the other thing, you try to think about weight loss, anything like
Yep.
that. If you're not getting your good sleep, it is not
Yes.
going to happen. Okay.
Listen, literally, my coach said that to me. My best friend gets on me about the same thing, and I've been. If you have an Apple Watch, I've been using my watch to kind of track my sleep and look at my sleep score. And I'm just like every day I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm like, what's my sleep score? And my best friend and I, we actually share on the health app, we share our sleep. So it's
Mhm.
like I feel like she's checking in on me. She's like,
Yes.
okay, so I see
For
last
sure.
night you got this many hours. What
What
are
were
you
you doing?
doing?
What were you doing?
What are you no, seriously, she would call and be like, are you in the bed? She said, I need you to get in the bed. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's time. It's time, sis. And
It
I
is
love that.
time.
Again, as we talk about the beauty of community, again,
Yeah.
Tatiana, I want to thank you so much for
Of
being a
course.
part of our Live Well community tonight.
Yes, yes.
You are such a light, and I just continue to
Thank
hope that you
you.
continue to prosper in all of the many ways and the many roles in the lives that you touch. Love you so big, Tati.
Love
Now,
you too.
if there are any questions,
Yes,
we'll stay
questions.
on,
And
and
I
I'm just
just
going
want
to
to say
kind of
thank you for like leaning into this and doing this. This is much needed. And I'm so proud of you. I cannot wait to see how God moves. And this is just going to continue to take off, girl.
I appreciate it, girl. I like so anybody in here, share this. Let them know I'm going to be posting little small clips, but we're also on YouTube. Okay, so
Hello.
Follow it's at the Live Well Doc on all platforms: YouTube, TikTok. Facebook is just my name, Amanda Patterson. Okay. But because with Facebook, my whole family is over there. The church folk,
Yeah, you
they
got
not about to
it's a
switch
lot.
over to find no doggone page. So it's just
So,
there, my name on Facebook. But thank you so much, y'all, for
thank
joining. I think that
you.
was the only question that we got was getting metabolic. And so that's metabolic. I can add them in here so you gonna have. They are also on Instagram.
And you
So
can
I
drop
would.
my code if they want to try a 2-week trial, and that's at a discounted rate as well.
Okay. And what's the code?
It is Tati, TATI, and then 10, the number 10, 10.
10.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all don't hear,
Go ahead, try.
oh,
Listen, I always
yes, I
tell people,
could.
just look, just try it out. Just try it out, okay?
No, for real. That's how it was for me. I got like a two. Whatever it was, like a week of
Yeah, I did too.
out,
And look, I'm still going.
and still like I was like, I love it there. Like
I
truly,
will
it's that's
drop in
so
and
great.
say the one thing that I do love is like there will be like there's like yoga classes, there will be like different
Mhm.
clinics. So it's not, it's not just like strength training, every day looks different depending on what
Yeah.
program we're on, but I enjoy it. I love it. I love torturing myself in a good
Yes,
way.
it's so fun. Like today, that doggone
Baby,
all the things, the back squats with that little kettlebell, and not little, that was a very heavy
that
kettlebell,
was very heavy.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah. uh yeah, that was very heavy, but you just grow and you just keep on going. And shout out to the instructors. They're like, hey, if it's too heavy, put it down for right now. Maybe it's too heavy right now,
Because you
try
can get
another
an
way.
injury.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's the same thing. I apply that same thing with, like, emotionally. If something's too heavy that day, I'm gonna put this down because I don't have the strength to carry it right now, but I can pick it up
Mhm.
at a later time. But right now, I'm gonna put this down. It's too heavy for me to
That's
carry.
a good, you
So,
know what, Doc? Let me add that. I like
right,
that. I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna put it
put
down.
it
Just like the
down. It's
weight.
too
I'm gonna put it
heavy.
down.
Today is too heavy. Tomorrow I can try again, or maybe I don't know when. But until I'm ready to work up to that thing, to deal with the heavy thing
Yes.
emotionally, maybe I
Mhm.
might need some coaching to help therapy. I might need to talk
Hello.
this out with somebody that can spot me. I always say that's what therapy is for. That's your spotter to say, hey,
Mhm.
I'm trying to lift this up, but it might be a little bit too heavy for me today. That's what they're there for.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I love that.
Truly, truly. Yes. Oh, and I also want to see, I see Urban MD TV, and there are some amazing doctors that are over there doing some
Uh-huh.
amazing work. I really love you all's content. So it's a pleasure to have y'all on. Hey.
Hey.
Okay. So we're about to go ahead and log off because I know, again, balance, you need to get ready for bed because I don't want your best friend tripping about that I had you up past
I'm
your.
probably gonna call her right after.
All right, Tati, I'll see you in the gym.
All right, girl.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.